Hey everyone, good morning. It's Monday morning, sadly, but we have a great topic today with Eric Rieken from KPN. Eric, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm good. Where exactly in the Netherlands are you this morning?
I am in Zoetermeer, which is very close to The Hague.
Den Haag, beautiful city,
That's
one of my favorites, of
it
course,
is.
well known on the global stage. Is that where KPN's headquarters is?
No, the headquarters KPN is actually sort of distributed over five major hubs, but the main hub is in Rotterdam.
Rotterdam, fantastic. Well, for those Americans mainly who don't know who KPN is
All
and
right.
have a vague understanding of who the Netherlands is, um, maybe introduce yourself and KPN.
Yeah, I'm sure the city of Amsterdam is more well known than the country of the Netherlands, but the Netherlands and KPN, we're the incumbent telecom operator, the traditional PTT, if you want to call it that way. That's a long time ago. Uh,
1752,
yeah,
KPN was
it's really,
founded.
it's really that long ago.
No telephone calls, no mobile,
No,
no
no, that was the
telegraph.
post office telegraph. Exactly, it was from based on the telegraphs. Um, but now it's obviously I work here, so I would say it's a very modern telecom operator. Um, Done some major changes in upgrading our infrastructure. The Netherlands is about 16, 17 million residents, and about half of them are customer of KPN. So we still have a good share of the market here. We do lots in fiber. We actually closed down ISDN, which is still a main thing here in Europe.
Oh, well, rest in
Most of
peace,
it is
ISDN.
offered.
Yeah.
The bandwidth for consumers is very high, so it's a quad triple play that KPN is playing in the consumer market. And on the business side, where I'm located, we do have most of it is on fiber as well. Major changes, 5G obviously very important, and is communication and CPaaS in particular. Trying to catch up on that. Well, we'll talk more about that. So still about.
Indeed, yeah, there's lots to talk about because telecom is, of course, fascinating, and there are so many services you offer. But as part of KPASA, the CPaaS Acceleration Alliance,
Yes.
we're really keen to learn more about what you're doing in the CPaaS world, and tell us about, the API store, the app store, if you will, almost that you launched in 2019. Is that
Yeah,
right?
2019 already. Yes, yes. KPN obviously traditionally is working very hard in communications. I mean, connecting is our business, and we still feel that we're grounded in that business. Um, and we saw early on that the changes were coming. I think obviously the CPaaS goes way back longer than 2019, but it was a point in time where KPN decided to actually experiment with the CPaaS approach. And we had a new business initiative, founded the API store, and it's still live with APIs for our own services, services that we acquire from third parties, and actually partners that simply join the platform. So that was way back in 2019, and it's still operational, but it's really up for a new version. I'd say that, yeah. But it's we learned a lot in that period of time. Also, the things that we shouldn't do. Not everything is helping the telco business, and customers don't always look for things at a telco. So we've experimented with the things that will suit us and help our customers move on. So it's been a long ride, but it's very entertaining still. And right now, obviously, we see things growing very fast. So it's a time to make the next step.
Well, it's really exciting what you've done because you're one of the few telcos in the world that's opened up their network for programmability
Yeah.
in a major way. So tell us, what's some of the functionality, the features, maybe some examples that you can provide. I understand you're working not just in the enterprise but contact center and beyond. Give us a little peek into that world.
All right. Um, well, obviously, the main APIs available are access to our basic services. So
Hmm.
SIP channels are available, SMS, messaging in general. Um, but we also have authentication, identification over the mobile acts, and we've added that with, especially for the contact center market, with how do we call it in proper English? Apps for knowledge management, which are
Hmm.
definitely not KPN basic services, obviously, but it fits the profile for our users in contact centers. Um, Bots, virtual assistants, specifically for the Dutch market. The Dutch language is particular, so we have a specific API accessing services that translate and transcript the Dutch
Oh, wow.
to the Dutch language. So that's basically what we're doing right now, and I've been doing it for a while, and it's all based on the API. So we've seen that that's not always the easy way for our customers to use these services. So we're now moving into an area where we add on to our API services with more of the mobile services,
Hmm.
security, authentication, pay services. I guess the usual thing that would actually complete the suite from a communication perspective, but also add more like a low code or a no code environment. So there's
Hmm.
a bigger group of customers that can actually easily use the APIs. They don't all have developers in-house or available to integrate the APIs into their own environment. So they're looking for something easy, and low code, no code makes that very easy, especially in the messaging. It's something that requests that we get a lot.
So it sounds like there are many, many different revenue streams that are enabled by this API suite. It's is this a how do you see this as a growth area over the next few years for KPN?
Well, it's we have high expectations right now. So
Hmm.
we've seen it sort of slowly maintaining itself, but right now we see it growing, especially over the messaging in the messaging area, and then all services on top of that. And that's I guess partly is um, how do you say that? It will come at the cost of the traditional business. So it's
Right.
replacing traditional business, but the use of communication in general is growing, and I don't think anybody would dispute that. And that is where the API business is actually growing very fast. It's new, predominantly new business, new usage, new use cases. Um, and I'm not sure whether you have any kids, but my kids, if I
I
call
do.
them, they don't answer the phone. They'll send a text message back asking me what's going on.
How did
Uh,
they learn this? Yes, it's universally true.
so and it will add. It's just more and more and more communication. So that's where we see business, both in obviously using our network, and still we have got obviously a main investment in our network, so it's on top of our network, but also the services that come on top of that in terms of the bots, the Chat GPT is wonderful, but it's also using all of network. So we're very interested in functionality like that. Um, and then if you make it easy, we can also bring it down to the SME market. And obviously, SME market is something different in every country. But for us, if you go down 250 employees and lower, you enter sort of the SME space.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you definitely do not have developers, and you still want to provide your customers with services on top of multiple channels. And then how do you do that? And that's exactly where we bring in the sort of low code, no code environment. You don't have to know the details of the API. You can simply use the front end, and that will use all the APIs. And that's we have high expectations of that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's we're all developers now with ChatGPT and the
Yeah,
like.
true,
It's
true.
pretty
Yeah.
fascinating. And you're doing this within the KPN API store context, but you're also involved with the Open Network API initiative, Camara,
Kamara. Yeah.
from 3GPP or the 5G folks. So that must be interesting. How do you see those intersecting and kind of working together?
Yeah, the way, as you said, we're seriously involved in the Khmer initiative. It's sort of a sidestep from where I sit, but in the end, we will see all of our services from all in the network API based. So no matter what it is, the idea here right now is that everything should be API accessible.
Mm.
And so it's going to be all of the microservices that you can build your own platform from, which is fine. And we have a large group of customers that will not use on that level these services. And we have a front end like in low code or no code environment that will use those APIs. But in the core, we will develop our services digitally. They are to be used on an API front, and the Camaro initiative will only help us to simply standardize that, because that will make the usage for all customers a lot easier, because you know how it will work here, and for another operator in another country, it will work the same way. That
Right.
it's
Well, that's going to be almost rocket fuel for this whole
absolutely, yeah,
initiative. Um, and the beauty of CPaaS is giving developers the freedom and the power to create things that have never been seen or done before, which
sure.
is super exciting. What are some examples or of the way maybe some of your SMEs have used APIs? Are there any services that come to mind? Maybe automatically sending flowers to mom on Mother's Day, or I don't know. I guess there must be a lot of 1,000 different examples that people are building on the network.
Yeah, and but I said yes, I know a few, but the beauty of it is that they don't always have to contact us. They can actually simply
Hmm.
go to the API store, use the
Oh, see,
service,
so you
and
might not even know
you don't
exactly
even
what they're
know. No,
building.
no, but
Right.
obviously the ones that are that we see are in the consumer market, business to consumer market, where especially in SME, we had a business that in this time it's very difficult to get your staff
Mm.
on place. So it's more you want everybody in front of the customer, but then the phone rings, and then that's the most ultimate thing that we all know it happens. And then they use it now to actually you can see there's a mobile phone coming in. You don't answer the phone. You send back a message. We're busy now. Can we help you in a different way? And so on. And then customers get into a message conversation. Very simple, very easy. You don't have to have high tech knowledge, and it's used a lot simply because, sorry, it's simply because it suits the especially the younger users,
Mm.
and it overcomes your shortage in staff. You can still serve your customers on the in store in plain view. So if they're there physically, you can help them. You don't always have to answer the phone. Very easy. Same thing in healthcare. It's always busy at the same hour. Monday morning, rush hour is gone. You don't want all these services, all these calls to go into your into the people who are actually receiving your guests, receiving your patients, if you want to call it.
Mm.
And you want those calls to go away, handle them through messaging, and now it's done very easily. It's like 3 or 4 flows. You build them yourself.
Wow.
It's
Well, I hope some of the telcos in the U.S. are listening to KPN, because
I hope so
honestly,
too. Yeah.
there are many CPaaS providers, big names like Twilio and others, but
Yes.
very few offerings like you have. So it's pretty eye-opening to see and to learn what you're doing on the cutting edge. And also imagine you have a lot of safeguards and security and compliance in place. Obviously, this is a technology
This is
that could
this
be
is.
misused for robocalls and all kinds of
I know.
nef-
I know.
nefarious purposes. That must keep you up at night a bit.
Well, that's where like a telco background sometimes hinders. It's true, but
Mhm.
in the end it will help, because
Mhm.
we're bound by all sorts of regulation,
Mhm.
and the fact that we not only support the application, but we actually own the network. We
Mhm.
can manage these conversations end to end. We can give you the guarantees and security you're looking for, and that's the one thing that we need to provide. And that's the way we make a difference from anything over the top. As long as it's within our network, we actually can control it end to end, and that's a significant difference, especially in these times of fraud coming around everywhere.
Yeah, and only getting worse with
And
generative AI. Yeah, it's really going to be pretty ugly
yeah.
in many cases. So tell us, why did you decide to join the CPAS Acceleration Alliance? I guess it wasn't just to be on my show. You must have had other interests
Well,
here.
I played a big part on that, and you know that. Well, this CPAS Acceleration Alliance is right at the right time for us. I mean, we restarting the whole initiative. We know there's a million things out there. I didn't check my mobile phone. I'm sorry. I know there's a million things out there that we don't see, and we want to learn from that. We want to be able to exchange our experiences with others and get their feedback. This is not something that we want to be the only one or the first one, or this
Right.
has to be good for us. So we're not looking for a monopoly position. We've done that like a long time ago. Never want that again. Because the services are going to get better by feedback from each other, and that's exactly what the Acceleration Alliance is offering us to converse with others and learn from others and have others the opportunity to learn from us, obviously. But yeah, I think it's a rich environment from knowledge, and people willing to share, and that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, community is king here. So the more you
Yeah.
can build community and learning and knowledge sharing, the better these initiatives are.
Yeah,
So
so
what?
we're looking for the event in September. Looking forward to that because that's one of the actually it's here. That's easy for us.
It's
But
easy for most people to get to Holland. So yeah,
yeah, absolutely. So it's a great way to actually meet people and learn from them. Yeah, so that's the key thing of the Acceleration Alliance, and obviously the knowledge from the partners themselves. They can help us with speeding up or getting the right way and finding the right partners and finding the right channels, obviously, like yours. Yeah.
yeah, it's all about the ecosystem. So what's your plan for the rest of the year as far as your rollout and your ramp up? And you mentioned some new capabilities. You must have a busy year ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be very busy. We have because we're working on three path revenues as we call them at the same time. One thing is we still need to complete our API suite, as we call it, to make sure that everything that we want there for our customers is actually there. And the next step would then be to make sure that all of the APIs are consistent. So there's a very easy way if you go into the API, so you find the API structured in the same way and stuff like that. So that's one avenue. We're not going to finish it this year, but it's something that we're working on very hard. The second one is the low code, no code environment that we need to introduce now. We're looking at partners. I think we found a good partner to do that, and more about that later, not now. We'll be introducing that as a platform. And the third avenue is where we actually make it even more easy for our SME users and our business partners. We have a very strong business partner channel to service the SME market to make sure that they're comfortable with the CPaaS low code, no code environment and actually start selling and building their own flows. That's the third avenue that we're working on. So we'll see how that works, but it's a lot at the same time. But then again, there's a lot of enthusiasm within the company to actually get started. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to meet you and the team at the CPAS Alliance Acceleration event in Amsterdam in September. So I have that penciled in.
Good.
And it's summertime. It's the best time of the year in Europe. I guess you're going to have some holidays, some vacation coming up. Anywhere nice? Any travel planned? Or
I'm
do
going
you
the other
like
way
to?
around. I'm going to Bonaire. Yeah, so the Caribbean. Yeah,
Oh, very nice. The Dutch
that's
Caribbean.
right. Yeah.
That's a beautiful spot.
It
So
is. Yeah.
enjoy your time there this summer, and we'll catch you in September.
All
And good
right.
luck. Congrats on all the great work at KPN.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for watching, everyone. Thanks. Appreciate your time. And yeah, check out KPASA, CPAS Acceleration Alliance. Bye bye.